Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Filmbusters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusterspod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters.
Have either of you boys watched 1,000 Blows?
No, not yet.
Not 1,000 Blows.
Because Disney stopped working for me because they were doing that thing where they now can't do household sharing.
Why don't you just spend £9 a month?
Because I don't really want to give Disney any more money than they already get.
Okay.
I can tell you already. I've got the trial anyway. I've got Tommy's trial. Never pay for Apple TV. I hate it.
Why?
Why do you
Because
hate
I
it?
go on it and everything's like, oh, here's this film. Oh, you got to pay for it.
Oh yeah, but mate, don't use it for film. I never use it for
But
film.
what's on there?
Apart from when we've
What's
had
on
to.
there anyway?
The TVs, it's the original content, the TV shows.
Well, you must be looking at it wrong because there is an Apple TV Plus section rather than Apple
Yeah,
TV.
go
It's
to the
all
TV
over the
section.
homepage. And do you know what annoys me even more? On Letterboxd, it says all these films are on there, and it's like, no, they're not.
They're just there to rent.
Yeah.
I think you might have the wrong Apple TV. There's Apple TV and there's Apple TV Plus. Apple TV Plus is the subscription one, but Apple TV is where like YouTube or Amazon where you could rent it all. It's like saying a film is on Amazon, but it's not on Amazon Prime.
If ever I see that a movie is on Apple TV on Letterboxd, I just ignore it because, yeah, you like you
Also,
say, you have to
Apple
pay for
stuff
it.
on there is all just originals. They don't have anything. They haven't bought
You can
anything.
tell me if there's a really good charm there that I should watch, and then I will decide whether I
Severance.
initiate my free trial when it comes to it. Apart from Severance, I will because I'm using my brother's 3 months free.
Presumed Innocent is very good. Jake Gyllenhaal, 6 episodes, in and out, very good one.
I enjoyed Slow Horses. Ben
Slow
doesn't.
Horses, I didn't like at all. Dark Matter, very good.
Is that the new one? The
limited
one with what's
show.
his name in it?
Joel Edgerton.
Oh no, the other one. I think the one with what's his name, Leo Woodhall in it.
I don't know who that
That's
is.
a maths one.
Silo also. I've just finished season 1. It's pretty good.
What films are up? They're not really big on films.
But nothing's
though, are
really popping out like transcending other than Severance, right?
they? Shrinking's quite good. I quite enjoyed Shrinking.
Adam's saying all the bad choices here, mate. Shrinking's obviously no good. Shrinking's. If you didn't like Ted Lasso, you won't like
Severance is
Shrinking.
the only big show though.
I think, yeah, that's it. Sort of like.
Other stuff is like, oh, I enjoyed it because I watched it.
No, that Presumed Innocent, I think is great. Oh, actually, Paul, I will tell you the best thing that I have seen on Apple TV, and it's arguably, I mean, I can't compare it to Severance because they're totally different things. 6 episodes, limited series, Blackbird.
And what's that? It sounds familiar.
True story. It's
Blackbird,
it's Taron.
Edgerton.
Taron.
That's
Yep.
why I know it. Yeah.
And he is a criminal. He has to go into prison where there is a serial killer.
You told me about this. That's how I know.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's that.
And he's got to try and get him to confess. Yeah.
To confess to all these scores and scores and scores of other murders because he's only away for like 1, and there's a chance that on appeal he could get out.
Okay. Well, Zoe might be interested.
So
in that.
good.
Okay.
I'll tell you what Zoe
Blackbirds.
will like, Paul, and I think Chelsea absolutely loved it, and I think everyone loves it. Is Bad Sisters on there? Everyone goes on about that one. I watched fleeting moments of it, but everyone
I
loves
think I
Bad
know what it
Sisters
is.
on there.
I think that's when they.
It's this group of sisters, and
they're
they've got to
killing
try
the
and
brother-in-law or
husband.
something.
Yeah. But it's only 2 series. It's like done in 2 series.
Well, we shall
But Chelsea
see.
absolutely loved it.
I'm just watching Severance at the moment, so.
I think
The reality is, it's you pay that Apple subscription for the TV series. You're essentially like agreeing to fund Apple, give them another £100 a year to fund their production. It's like a TV license, but for Apple. And the thing with their shows is they just do a real bad job of marketing them because they have some incredible shows on there.
Also, everything's got a very high standard on Apple TV.
Very, very high production values and whatnot.
Like, they spend a lot of money on it. I think
that's good.
I would, if you told me right now, this is genuine, if you told me right now, okay, we can either eliminate all original Netflix content or all original Apple content, I'd say get rid of Netflix, bun it off. I want to see.
I do think
Apple's original
Netflix comes in
content.
waves of how good it is.
I don't think it does anymore. I'm actually considering like walking away from Netflix because
Adolescence is absolutely fantastic, Ben.
yeah, well, I
Yeah,
obviously
it's very good.
there's going to be the odd thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then, but then again, I'm watching all the sports documentaries at the moment, like Full Swing and Drive to Survive, and all of that stuff.
It's so funny when you haven't watched the thing that everyone is talking about. Like, I don't know
Severance.
if you boys do this, but yeah, there's like the more people and everyone you speak to is like, this is so good, this is so good. The more I, anyway, am like, you're making me not want to watch this.
Because it's too
Stop
popular
talking
now.
about it. I imagine it's how people who didn't watch Game of Thrones felt at that time, and everyone's like, you don't watch Game of Thrones. You're like, fuck
But
off.
also because it's such a fantasy thing that it's like, why would I watch that? But then when you get into it, it's a different kind of story, because that's what Zoe said. That's why like I went back and watched everything with her, but she was so like against watching it because it was so like Dungeons and Dragons. But then
Yeah, that's what I
once you
mean.
get past
I get that. It's like, it's again like someone said to me, if you would like, I'd go even compare it to as God of War in the game. It's like I would never like a game like that, and then you play it and you're like, this is done to such a high fucking standard. It's absolutely incredible, and you just can't help but just go with that world.
Well, speaking of God of War, how are you doing with Ghost of Tsushima?
I put a pause on it for the moment. I'm just finding
I
it
bet
way
you
too.
have.
It's way too repetitive.
I bet you have. Jenny started playing it, and after a few weeks, she was like, "Yeah, I'm not playing that anymore.
It's just
too. It is. It's
also,
too
I discovered
vast.
like I thought that's the map, and then I realised there's a little fucking bridge, and the map goes up way again. There's a whole nother island. I'm like,
There's another 3 maps on top of that. Yeah, it's huge.
it's too big, man. So I've started playing Spider-Man instead, and I'm very much enjoying Spider-Man.
Baby.
Like, it's not,
Just like Roy Keane said.
it's not. It's a very good game.
All right, baby. All right, baby.
Paul, you would absolutely love
Oh,
it.
I know.
'cause
I
it
played
leans.
Spider-Man games before.
No, but this one leans very much into your
Arkham.
thing of collecting everything.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like there's like on the maps there's like 50 backpacks, and you can see where they all are. It's not like GTA with the hidden pieces where you have to find them. They're all kind of around the map, and you have to complete each reading, and there's like a tick list. Like everything's a checklist to tick off.
No lie. I'd love
You'd
that.
you'd lose your life to it, Paul, because you'd have to complete it within that day.
Ghost of Tsushima also has you collect things, banners and whatnot.
Yeah, I know, but they're not there. But it's just like there's like a checklist when you go onto each region of New York, because it's all set in
Yeah,
Manhattan, and
you
it's
need to be
almost
handheld. Yes,
identical
I understand.
to like Manhattan as well. Like
You
can
need to
see
be
it.
handheld. I
I
understand.
reckon I would like Ghost of Tsushima, right?
No,
Why is that?
no.
It's like Red Dead, but without any of the fun of it. It's just too big. It's just too. It's very repetitive.
Basically,
very
it's
quick.
not. It's great. It's just very different. It's huge open world, but that's not the issue. The issue is that it is much more of a meditative game. It isn't. Nothing is fast paced.
Yeah.
Everything is just very much immersion. Like half of the time, you spend like following foxes to foxholes and then writing haikus.
Oh shit.
Bathing in onsen. It's kind of like the closest I think you could possibly get to like
Aren't
a
you a
meditation
samurai?
game.
Yeah, and then you go and
Yeah,
fuck
okay.
people up. But even when you in combat, you've got to be quiet and skilled, because if you alert too many people, then you have to fight too many people, and you can't fight them all. And you've got to take people one by one, and you
See, but I
challenge them
like
to
shit
duels.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of that's like, I don't know. I'm never not going to go back to it. But
Adam it's so not an Adam game.
I mean, I quite enjoyed it, but it's just a thing of like, I spend 3 hours on it, and you do fuck all. And it feels like you're slowly chipping away at this thing forever.
But that's why I like
And
it.
it's
I will
like-
keep returning to it. It's
Yeah,
not the
I'm
kind
not
of
gonna
game
say I'm
that you
not
can
gonna
pick up every day.
Complete
I know,
it, but yeah, it's like, okay, I've gone to this one for the moment.
But you know what it's like is like GTA Online, in that you constantly are doing things, and then you've realised you spent half a day, and you're like, yeah, but what have I done? It's a game, folks. That's it. It's a game, though. You don't need to. You're not. It's not life. You don't need to have accomplished something. You just need to enjoy
It's true.
it while you're
It's true.
playing.
Enjoy your time.
A bit like listening to this podcast.
Exactly. who accomplishes anything at the end of this podcast.
I know. I would love someone to write in and tell us one thing you've ever learned from listening to us, particularly as we've just spent the first 10 minutes of this talking about everything but films.
About how angry Ben can be.
Oh, man. What should we talk about film?
Yeah, let's talk about film and angry men.
Well, Adam, it's your choice. What are we doing today?
We are going to cover the film 44-Inch Chest.
Ray Winstone's 44-inch chest.
There you go. Yeah.
It's got a very good cast in it, though.
Oh, big
The cast of British actors you would all definitely know.
Yeah. Who are they?
You got Stannis Baratheon.
Yes. Stephen Delane playing Mal.
I thought you could name them all without actually naming them then.
You have, what's his name? John Hurt.
Old Man Peanut.
Elephant Man.
You have, what's his name from John Wick?
Ian McShane. Meredith.
Yes.
Winston.
Who else have you got in there? Who's the other guys in his gang?
Tom Wilkinson as Archie.
The full Monty.
Yeah. And from Batman Begins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Surprised you went for Full Monty rather than Batman.
I know, but it's our podcast.
Two
Talking
on the
about films
nose.
we've done on the podcast.
Oh, right, I see. I didn't realise that's what you were doing. Is that what you were doing the whole time?
Maybe.
Have we ever done... Okay, go on then. Who have we done before, Paul?
You want to do that now?
Since we're talking about them.
I was going to bring it up and make it a little game because we've done every single one of them on the podcast. And we've
Have
done
we?
one film each.
Come on in, Adam. What films have we done from each of those 5?
Well, we've done John Wick.
Yeah, for McShane.
Yeah.
What have we done with Ray
Dunno.
Winstone in? Genuine question.
That's the hardest one. That's the hardest.
He would be in, maybe when he went through his real Hollywood phase. I don't know.
Or,
We haven't done Departed, have we, or anything like that?
I think it could be the Gary Oldman one that we did.
No.
It's a hard one, you say. Oh, I bet it's going to be because he's done a voice in something like Toy Story 4.
Nope. He's physically in it.
How long's he in it for?
I can't remember.
So
But he's in it.
he's not a main character.
Ensemble. There's a lot of people in this film.
Ensemble.
Get the other ones. Come on, get the other ones
Okay.
first. So far, Adam said John Wick, so he's got 1 point. Who's going to steal Tom Wilkinson?
What'd you call it?
Well, Full Monty.
You said it.
Yes.
Full Monty, yeah.
Ben. There you go.
Does that count, even though you said it earlier?
Yes, it counts.
First one to it.
John Hurt, Adam. I mean,
You know what he's in.
he's in loads of fucking films.
But we've only done one. I'm surprised none of you are stealing Stephen Delane.
I know. I'm trying. That's actually who I'm focusing on. I'm trying to think what the fuck Stannis been in.
I think I only know him as Stannis.
The funny thing
Stannis
is,
the Manus.
we've already spoke about 3 out of 5 of these films. Actually, no, we spoke about it before the podcast. It wasn't actually on the podcast.
Oh, I know it, Paul. I know it.
Go on.
He's looking.
Ben, I know.
He's looking on
Ben.
Letterboxd. He's looking on Letterboxd.
I don't have looked at it. Ben, I'm going
He's
to try and
cheating.
tease
He's
you.
Are you
What cheater?
cheating, Adam? You little cheat.
What cheater?
Ben, you mentioned it earlier on when we were doing our preamble.
Yes, that was my clue. Why are you looking
And
at?
before we started recording, Ben, you mentioned a film that you were going to pick. If you didn't pick.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, of course. He's Santiago's agent in goal.
Look at that. Ben got to claim it because you cheated.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what? That shows
that was the point.
the variety, the depth of that actor, because I don't even connect that lovely, lovely agent to horrible Stannis. Although I love Stannis. I do love him. He did burn his daughter alive, but I do love Stannis. He was the best character in Game of Thrones.
2 more people. I don't think you're going to get either.
Give us a clue about the Ray Winstone one particularly.
Okay. It's in our bottom 10 worst films of all time.
Cats.
Ray Winston.
Oh, Cats.
You got it, Adam, yeah. It's Cats.
Is he in Cats? Well, who's he in Cats?
One of the rubbish cats.
Okay.
Is he one of the Jellicle cunts?
Yeah, well, all of them are, aren't they?
Dearie me.
And the last one is a film that I very much loved. It is by a very renowned director, controversial director.
Stop. Controversial director, Lars von Trier, Melancholia.
Is it? Yeah,
Got
I was
it.
about to say,
Well done, Ben.
Melancholia.
There you go.
He's the dad at the wedding, isn't he?
He is, yeah, there you go. Look at that. Look at that.
That was a fun game, Paul. We don't
That
even
was
need
good,
to
wasn't
play
it?
my silly game anymore. That was much more fun.
What a silly game.
As in the quiz, I mean.
Oh. Well, we should probably lead on to the quiz, shouldn't we? Let me just give this a moment just to plug the Patreon. We got a Patreon at www.patreon.com/filmbusters. We can get exclusive content. You can get exclusive episodes. You can suggest films for us to do. You can inspire the rounds we do. It's all wonderful stuff, and that's at www.patreon.com/filmbusters. Should we go to the quiz?
Yes, let's go to the quiz. So this is the point in the episode where I will ask the boys 2 questions. If they get the questions right, they'll get the point. If they get them wrong, I will get the points. The scores, Paul, please, if you don't mind.
The scores are: I'm in the lead on 6 points. Ben, you're second place, 4 points. Adam, last place, 3 points.
Oh, really? You're 2 points clear, Paul?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I didn't realise that. Okay, well, it's going to be fun. Are you ready, boys?
Let's do it.
You get a guess each.
Okay.
If one of you says a name first, the other one can't claim that name afterwards, though. All right?
Okay, cool.
Who is the first person in the movie to say cunt?
Ooh.
Stannis Baratheon.
And Paul, your choice?
I'm going to say John Hurt, Old Man Peanut.
Points to Adam. It is Stannis Baratheon. Mal says...
I just thought because he says it a lot.
Mal says, get in, you old cunt, to Peanut as they pull the van up. That's the first cunt in the film. So that's a point to Adam. Second question. Who is the last person to say cunt?
Oh. John Hurt.
And Adam says...
I'm going for the other guy who was in Full Monty.
Points to Paul. It is Old Man Peanut.
Yeah.
He says, let's have a wit round for the cunts.
Look at that.
Look at that. Well done, boys.
Good questions.
Between the two of you, you both got it.
It had to be about that, didn't it? Had to be the subject.
How could it not? So what's the new scores, Paul?
New scores. Me on 7 points. Ben, you're on 4 points. Adam on 4 points.
Oh, shit.
Wait.
Now Paul's running away.
I'm running.
Adam's going to knock me down.
We shall see. Never happened before.
Well.
Should we go to the film?
Yes. And apologies to all those who are sensitive to the word, but there's going to be a lot of use of it today.
I'm sure there is.
Toy Story 4 got nothing on this episode.
The man's a love machine.
She's a mother! That's somebody's mother, you idiot. She's got children.
She's a wife! Can't be off goggling.
She's got a grieving husband. That's him. That's Colin. You've ruined him.
He's a husk. Nothing left of him.
He's shattered. You've shat on him, you shit.
That's his missus. That was his missus, you diddled. That was Liz. That was his Liz. That was his Liz, you butt. That's Mrs. Diamond. Mrs. Colin Diamond. A married woman, you bird.
And you a fucking waiter. A fucking waiter. A fucking frog waiter. You cunting spunker.
Right, everyone, today we're doing 44-inch Chess from 2009, directed by Malcolm Venville. This is a spoiler episode. So if you've not seen the film, you might want to go watch it first because it's a joyous event for British cinema. Then, other than that, we've already spoken about actors that have been in films. So, Adam, what's the plot of this film?
This is about a man who finds out his wife has been cheating on him with... Is he a waiter?
He is.
French. And they all put him in a room. They all talk to him about kind of what it means to be cheated and what love is, and a lot of other subjects as well.
A lot of other subjects.
Yeah.
Ben, you got any facts?
What facts have I got? So this is from the writers of Sexy Beast. They came up with the idea for this film while they were writing Sexy Beast. They also wrote Gangster No. 1. If you boys have ever seen that.
I've seen that.
Very good. So the script was written with Ray Winstone in mind. They sent the script to Winston, and he and Ian McShane read it together, and they were like, this is great, we've got to make it. Ray Winstone saw the script as poetic and reflecting the language of London. He calls it the music of where he came from. So they got involved with...
That's one way of saying it.
Yes, it is one way of saying it for sure. The director, Malcolm Melville, got on board because he saw it as like a Shakespearean style play. He'd only ever directed commercials before, but he knew that he had to make it. All the cast loved the script as soon as they got it in their inbox. John Hurt said that when he receives a script, he marks it out of 100, and any scripts that score below 50, he doesn't even consider. But
That's quite a low bar.
It is a low bar, isn't it, actually?
That's probably why he's in so many films.
I know, but he
Imagine
said,
if you were like, I know this film's going to be a 5 out of 10, but I'm still going to act in it.
I know, that's essentially it, isn't it? But he said that he marked it in the high 90s. So he very much bloody loved it. Very much bloody loved it. It was shot at Elstree Studios, where the three of us all met.
Hell yeah.
We could have recreated this film one day.
The rehearsals took place over 3 weeks. Rehearsals were conducted as if it was a stage play due to the long speeches being learnt, and the director decided that he only ever wanted one camera to be used throughout the whole film. So there were no multiple camera shots. So every performance was being directed specifically at one camera in the shot. And
that's nice.
That is nice, isn't it? And most interestingly of all, did you see who did the score for this film?
No.
Did you see, Adam?
No.
It was a collaboration between Massive Attack and Angelo Badalamenti.
Wow. That's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember the score in it being like mega though.
It's not. It's really not.
It's very like
subtle.
It's not even particularly good.
I can only remember Can't Live Living Without You.
Yes. Angelo Badalamenti did not write that.
Right, great facts there, Ben. Thank you.
Good.
Adam, this is your film, so you get to decide what order you want first impressions.
I'll go first, and then I'll go Ben and then Paul. I don't know if that spells anything. I was just trying to see which. Yeah, just to see if a way of it could spell something, but it didn't.
What was the order he said?
ABP.
Okay.
So I've watched this film quite a few times now, but I haven't watched it the last time I watched the film was 5 years ago, actually. And it's just as good as I remember in some parts. It's so well. The script, like everyone goes on about, it's just a fantastic script. It's fantastically acted. There's so many great moments to it. The only thing I felt on this watch, didn't necessarily, maybe I thought about it, but didn't really dwell on it because I knew we were going to go on and talk about it, is I think it really is lacking a element from her side of the story, his wife, because it seems very, in parts, it's just a boys' club ganging up on her for doing something wrong. Whereas I felt the film would really have another layer if she had a voice to talk, to either defend herself or talk about the situations that led, like what he was doing wrong that led her to this situation. And all these elements, I think it would really add another dynamic to this film. And there are parts of it where you were like, okay, this is good, but then it becomes just the same thing again and again. I felt that a little bit on this watch because I was probably watching it with a more critical eye. But that being said, it's still fantastic and it's still such a good film. And it goes into some deeper subjects again than I kind of remember, especially when he's in the room in that dream sequence and he's talking about what love is. And he's talking about all those pain and suffering that you go through that's now been ripped away from him. And yeah.
That's not even in the dream sequence, is it?
Is it not?
I think it's when he's just talking to him one-on-one.
That's just convo, yeah.
Well, that's part of the dream sequence. That's when he keeps flicking in and out the dreams, isn't it? That's when they leave the room and it's him
just
one-on-one.
Just after that bit, I think.
Okay.
You don't know the first thing about her. Bet she's never farted in front of you, has she? Has she? No, I thought not. It's not romantic, is it? You just wanted perfume clouds of love. Yeah, well, we've off podcast always talked about this film, the three of us. We're all big fans of it. That's no secret. I love dialogue-based films. That's no secret. And it does play out like a play. It feels, I would love to see this on stage. I agree with you, Adam. This view, more than any other time, probably just through maturity, I was like, yeah, this is very one-sided. Like, what's the reason? Why has she cheated on you? Like, there is a beauty to his talk of love, like all these tough guys, and he's the one still talking about love. But it's like, but then why has she cheated on you? And why does she still want to leave you? Why is she not remorseful? Like, it's almost like there is something there which is a little bit malignant. And we have this casual physical abuse of her, which never gets addressed or punished at any point in the film as well. And when she does perform, she's only there, as you say, in the dream sequence, and she's like a sort of masculine woman, like a fantasy woman who's just there to belittle him, to cuck him and whatnot. But all that said, I can forgive it because ultimately it is this challenging film about masculinity, and you have all these legends of British cinema all under one roof, all reflecting the psyche of the traditional British geezer. And how does someone who is actually feeling emotions and feeling emotional deal with that when they have these different aspects of what it is to be a man in their ear? Because I think literally they are all there, but I don't think it matters, because I think all of those characters reflect real people in the real world, but are just the different voices in his head, in a man's head as he's going through that. I love that you have each of them embodying a slightly different version of what it is to be a man and how to react to things. And I like that. I did think on this watch that it did feel a little bit bloated at times, and there were certain sections which this time around I was like, man, we really don't need this. Like the Samson and Delilah bit in the hallway outside the room, cut it. We don't need it. There's too much talking already. We don't need the Samson and Delilah anecdote from John Hurt for 5 minutes. And I didn't like when they left the room. You could have just kept the whole thing in the room like a play. But these are minor quibbles in a film which I otherwise think is doing some really great and important stuff.
Yeah, I do agree. I think the energy changes when they leave the room because it's very quick, it's very snappy, bouncing off each other. But when it's just the two of them, there is an element where he's allowed to open up and not have the pressure of what his friends were going to say to him about it, which is quite nice. But then again, the film does lose a certain level of pacing that it's kept going. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one good line we get from that Samson Delilah thing is when Winston, that's what his name's Winston for me.
Meredith.
Meredith. He says, Oliver Reed, lovely, big back.
Well, not to go into it, but just yet, because we're still doing our first impressions. Yeah. But the one thing that irritated me slightly on this watch more than any other watch was the back and forth dialogue and Meredith saying things like, Rock Hard Hudson, out of nowhere. It's like, this feels like a writer thinking they're very clever.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It felt a bit more obvious this time.
Oh, see, but I kind of do enjoy that still at the same time.
Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So yeah, in the dialogue department, it's just pure fire, man. It's everyone's just top of their game. It's just, I think it's actually quite hard to even pinpoint like who is putting in the best performance. I think that's something we can maybe talk about who our favourite person is. But I think for enjoyment level, for me, I think it is John Hurt, man. I think I love him in this. Just the stuff that's coming out of his mouth, it's just hilarious. But I can't tell you enough. In general, I know what you mean about the Meredith stuff, but in general, I really like that back and forth layered dialogue. That just kind of electric back and forth overlapping with like the other tangents just overlapping with each other. I think it's quite fun. I know what you mean about the bit where he's sitting in the room and they're just saying random stuff at him. That could feel a bit like force, but just in general when they're having conversations, I love that in film. And there's just so many hilarious lines. It's insane, like just so simple, quick fire lines, but just completely effective and like hilarious. The stuff that's coming out. It's also it's great, and it should be like given its merits for just exploring this, as you said, Ben, this sensitive, tough guy persona and just the deconstruction of that. It's just great stuff. But I know, as we said, this is going to be a big love fest. So I will go into the lesser negatives. It's not massive negative, but like lesser. But they're still negatives. The first half is way better, especially when based in reality. I don't really care for all the imaginary stuff. In the grand scheme of things, the story isn't actually that great. It's just more the interplay between the characters that makes it so great for me. Yeah. But it's like undeniably a little British gem that it went too far under the radar, and it's absolutely deserves to be seen. Yeah. And let's talk about it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it is that thing of, I always thought it's gone under the radar, and I don't get why more people don't like it. But I do get on this watch why it would put a lot of people off this film because it is very just male gaze and very male heavy. Not male gaze.
I don't think it's male gaze. I reckon
it's a male heavy film and it's a male opinion film where it does. Again, I really did notice it that it was lacking that female element on it, and I
think that's kind of okay because of in one respect, and it's the men's mental health angle, which is that this film kind of would have brought in, this is how I see it, it was kind of marketed as a gangster film, in as much as look at the front cover, you think, oh, well, look at all of them lot, this is going to be a gangster film. Oh, come on, boys, let's go and see this. Oh, I've rented this out. Let's watch it. That might be a stereotype, but so is John Hurt's performance through the whole fucking film, so we can do it. And then the boys sit down, maybe, and they watch that together, and they're like, oh, right, that wasn't what we expected, was it? No, but they were tough guys, weren't they? Yeah. And what were they talking about? Oh, that was their mate who was going through a hard time. And it was about how all of these different people were, in their own way, supporting him, but at the same time, not. It's that's what was the fascinating thing, which is kind of why it had to be just men, I think, Adam, because it was kind of like,
I agree.
This guy's going through this thing, and let's look at how men react to someone who's feeling an emotion.
I get that, but then it's also like, and maybe they don't need to be part of it, but in that dream sequence, it would have been more interesting if he had just thought back over his life why this has happened. Because he makes the decision to let him go, even though all the pressure is on them to kill him or whatever. Which, whatever. That's almost quite an interesting part of the story of like how the person who was hurt the most is the one who can forgive. So
he's the only one who can forgive.
Head. He's looking in his head for why he can forgive this to happen and why he can forgive everyone. So he must be able to reflect on stuff he has done in order for the reflection to happen. I think that would have been more of a better way of doing it. Like, has he been too out with the lads all the time? Has he just been going around town, like in the pubs, and disregarding her and all of that, which led to it, which is his guilt that leads to his reflection.
I think it's just right there in front of you, though, isn't it? It's just this is all these masculine personas kind of playing out. And it's like, he doesn't see what he's done wrong because he is who he is. It's like all of them, the way they have an opinion about women.
Yeah.
This is the people he's hanging out with. So this is in some way, yes, they all like, each of them a deconstruction of like a masculine persona, but they all have this opinion, and the way they speak to each other, it's all very negative against women. So that is who he is. So no wonder she didn't want to be with him.
Yeah, and again, I think it shows up more when she does come into it in the dream sequence, which obviously he's making up, and she's the one flirting with all the guys.
Well, I like that because I don't think that is actually what she's like. That is
but that's how he's seeing her now. That's how he is now reflecting her onto his friends.
Yeah,
that is how men see her.
I think that's how he sees her.
That's how he's jealous. He's constantly jealous. Clearly, that's what I suspect he was like before she cheated. Like I don't think he ever hit her before that moment in the film.
No, I don't think he did.
I wasn't necessarily saying here, no.
But I think he was a very overbearing personality, in as much as not wanting her to be around other men, look at other men a certain way. Like all of that stuff in that fantasy sequence is just his subconscious bubbling through. But he loves her. He does love her, and I think it's interesting that, like, forget what he actually did and why she cheated. He keeps coming back to this comment. He says it multiple times throughout the film. He keeps saying, "I love her too much. I love too much." Almost, and it's like, what is in there? There's something in that, because you're saying that so much, and it's like that is a toxicity in and of itself, when you do that so much to the point where you don't let someone
be
live.
Her own person.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it was. Because he's like kind of... Do you get the impression he was a gangster?
I don't think he's necessarily... I don't think they're gangsters. I think they don't... They just fuck up... Like they're just hard guys who hang around the pub. And
like backhand deals and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because they maybe don't have necessarily an office job, but then also not complete criminals.
He does. He sells Jags. That's his job, because he talks about selling the Jag. He probably works down the car factory. He's a very well-off car salesman.
Oh, okay.
Because when he brings her in them flowers and chocolates, he's like, "Yeah, I sold the Jag today."
I feel like there's something like a criminal element to them still, though. The fact that they would leap to all wanting to go and help kill this one
Also,
man.
they've got this abandoned warehouse that they can just go and beat some guy up in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely involved in some shady shit.
What I do like, though, is yes, they could all be seen as like a different facet of masculinity, and Ray Winston is by far like the most sensitive to like what love is and loving a woman. And whereas he even says it like none of you are married, and none of them do have that kind of aspect of what it is to be like have a wife or be in a relationship with someone in a full-time relationship. And apart from Old Man Peanut, but he's got that old school kind of persona.
They were all just like, oh, should we just go down to the club now? Who wants to come to the club? Who wants to go to the pub or whatever? There was no reflection on what actually happened that day. They were just doing it like it was their everyday life, where he's the one who's still broken.
Yeah, but that's what I think about. That's why I think it is ultimately bringing it back down to men and how men support one another. There is something in it that I think this is being critical about it, but also there's something very sweet about it. Is despite how horrible these guys are individually in their approaches to things, ultimately, what have they done? They've turned up for their mate. Every single one of them is there in that room with Ray Winstone. They got their beers, they got their packets of crisps, and they're there with him.
Yeah.
And that is lovely.
And they said to him at the beginning, it's like, you're not going anywhere until this is done. You cancel all plans.
Yeah.
This is the priority.
Yeah.
Which, again, yeah.
That is
but
lovely.
Then the second it's done, they don't even reflect on it or talk about his decision.
But that bit is the realistic thing. Because men, especially in this country, because I think this is a distinctly British film. I think if you did this in America, it would be a different kind of film. This is distinctly
100%.
British, which is that men, when they are there to support people, a typical men, it's normally, let's go to the pub, let's have a beer and talk about it. And as soon as you've had something even resembling a emotional conversation or something that involves men's feelings, men quickly want to run away from it and get down the pub. Let's reassert that traditional value. Let's get down the pub. So I thought it was a very true ending at the end, despite all of them, Meredith included, and Tom Wilkinson's character, that they're all like, yeah, come on then, let's go. Let's go and have a drink. Because that is how men sort of draw a line under things.
Yeah.
I think that's what this film does so well, is that just the relationship between all these men, regardless of like how the situation they're in, just the back and forth between all of them, it feels so... Even though it's like the stuff that's coming out of their mouths horrendous, it does feel so lovely just to see these men just chatting with each other, and it's so joyous. And then, yeah, as soon as they do leave the room, that is where the film drops for me, 100%. It's because it feels like it's trying to do something really metaphoric, but it's like I don't think it ever really gets there. They're still trying to do the back and forth between everyone, but it's like, but what are you trying to say now? I can never really get the measure of it.
If you set this on stage and you just got two acts, you got the curtain dropping in the middle, you'll have the first act and the second act pretty much exactly as is. But when those guys leave that room and go into the hallway, you probably wouldn't follow them, and you just stay with Ray Winston's character and that guy on the chair in the middle, and that's fine, that's perfect, that bit works. But yeah, as they leave the room, forget it. And like I'll tell you some things that also annoyed me. Not annoyed me, but I was like, yeah, this is not impressive. Meredith tells the anecdote about the guy who picks him up in the car. They go and spend some money on the roulette wheel.
Yeah.
That whole anecdote is like, it's just there to be a little bit Guy Ritchie-ish and like, oh, cunt,
sure.
red cunt. And it's like, this is kind of unnecessary. Like, we don't need to be seeing any of this. You could tell this anecdote briefly, but we don't need to be seeing this.
Yeah, to make it a whole thing.
Yeah. And the dog thing up front, when they're talking down to the dog, it's like,
yeah,
we kind of don't
it's like
need
just
that.
There.
Yeah,
just there.
We don't need it. We don't need it.
But one thing that is included that is probably the thing that I take away from this, thinking that is kind of what I want to dig into a little bit, because I can't get the complete measure of it. And that is another Meredith story when he's talking about the £444 shoes.
Oh yeah, and the no box.
Yeah. But the thing that I think's why it's so fascinating to me is that the fact that it's £444 and the film's called 44-inch Chest. And it's like he's talking about a guy getting close to him, and he's like, I'll just give you £500 just to get him away, and he has him in a paper bag. And it's like, what is that? Sounds like a massive metaphor for something, but I can't really break it down and understand what it means to the whole grand scheme of things.
I can't even really remember that story.
No? It just seems so... The fact that it's £444. I don't know, but it's during the dream sequence as well. That's why I feel it feels so like important that it's there, and it spends time to tell this story. And John Hurt says, "Oh, it's because he's being Flash, isn't he?" And then Meredith's like, "No, I wasn't." It's like that's not the answer to the question. What is the answer? So that's what I feel. That's the one thing I came out interested about, but I still can't get the measure of it. I don't really know what he's saying.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I think 44-inch chest just means you're just a big geezer.
Yeah, that's what 44-inch chest is for sure.
Big guy.
I feel like it means more than that, though, doesn't it?
No, 44-inch chest, as in the title of the film, 44-inch chest is the traditional, like if you're 44-inch chest, Google it, look at the images that come up. There's a British measurement and it's big-chested men, traditional men, and calling it 44-inch chest is like, okay, this is a film about traditional manly men, but then it's deconstructed, through the film.
Yeah.
Listen, here's something that I want to do with you both.
Go on.
Of the 5 characters,
I
want us for each other to say what percentage of each person we think builds us up, and by that, not about yourself. The other two got to do it for you.
Okay.
So you have to. So 100%, and you need a percentage of every character.
There's definitely some lacking personalities in this room, though.
I'm about to say you can't make 100% up of us.
No, but if you have to use those 5,
okay, all right,
you have to use those 5.
That's all just going to be almost the bad traits of us, because they're all not. They don't. A lot of them don't really show great traits in a lot of stages of the film.
But we can break them down and say what.
There's not really any of them you want to be like in this certain situation as well.
No, yeah, but it's not. It's just I'm talking about there are 5 different aspects of masculinity. Let me tell you something, boys. Right, the two of you think you're saints. You're not. I think I'm a saint. We're not. We got these people in us, and if you think you're above them, you're not.
No, I'm not saying we are. I'm just saying there's a lot of good traits that need to be added on it to make these 100%.
But that's not the game. We're playing with 5 characters in the film, mate.
Flawed then.
Let's play it. Come on.
Okay.
All right.
There's a big hole in the middle of this game.
Let's do Adam first.
Okay, so think of the worst character, and he's 100%.
Right. So I'll tell you who he hasn't got any of.
Go on.
Meredith. No. Actually, that's not true, because I actually made a note when I was watching it that there is an element of Meredith to Adam.
So let's break the character down so that we can like it's like a flashy flare.
What are we saying they are?
So not the flashy way. Is that Meredith? We know when he has that conversation with Ray Winstone's character, and he says to him, "I'm not like you. I can't get involved in those deep emotional connections. I just need to move on. I need to
get
be
in
fluid."
lizard brain.
Yeah, there is an element of lizard brain, and and I'm not saying that, Adam, you're like that in your relationship. I mean in that in life you are much more likely, out of me and Paul, you are much more likely to take something on the chin and just keep rolling. Whereas I think me and Paul, if we're wounded in some way, the two of us are most likely to linger on it.
Yeah, I guess so. Also, I think with Meredith's character, he also shows he doesn't take it as seriously as the other ones do. He's still taking the situation seriously, but he's still putting his little stories in. He's putting his little qualms in.
But that's also that's also a Paul trait, though.
But to lift the mood, I think he's doing it. He's just like, let's just change the tone of the room and let's like almost make it more friendly. Like we're lads here and we're not just focusing on that situation. That's I think how he's acting in that.
There's certainly a bit of me in there, yeah.
So definitely, wait, all right.
If you're saying that.
Sticking on Adam for now, right? Let's just say every character is 20% at this moment, and we'll decide if we need to go up or down. So give Adam 20% Meredith, yeah?
Yep.
All right. Old Man Peanut. How much of Adam is Old Man Peanut?
Well, I think Old Man Peanut is very much the old school, angry. This is how it works. This is how it worked in my day. This is how women are.
Traditional.
That's what he represents in the film. Yeah.
And Adam, I've got to say, I think
the golfer,
you have this quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, because out of the 3 of us, I know I may sound like I'm it, but I actually think you're the most blokey, wide boyish boys,
absolutely,
lads. It's you.
But I don't think he represents that necessarily.
I think
in my opinion, he represents traditional values. He is very much women do this, they do that. This is how you should act. This is how she should act. And when she does that, he's very black and white, I think, is how he's looking at the situation.
He is.
He is not open to what's happened he doesn't he just says this is the situation, that's how it happens, rather than what's actually happened in this situation and how should that affect the outcome of this situation. Yeah. That's how
but obviously we're not saying you're this terrible guy. This is just the purpose of the game. But in terms of like what he embodies beyond that, which is certain traditional values of how, like, Adam, do you deny that out of the three of us you are the most laddie?
I'd probably say yes, but I wouldn't describe him as a laddie character.
You love the pub, you love going on boys' trips, you love your football.
I'd say he might be more the son of Peanut.
Son of Peanuts.
I'm just trying to say what I think these characters. This is almost a better way to just say what we think those characters represent. And you said like they're all caricatures of traditional male people, and they represent a different personality. And I think that's what he is representing as the personality.
Yeah, he is like, you've got to struggle. If you're his son or his grandson, you're going to have a bit of a fight on your hand to be. I think
Stannis is more laddie down the pub,
5%,
hang out with the lads.
You're 5% old man Peanut, 20% Mal, Stephen Delane.
Oh, really? You think Adam's only 5% old man Peanut?
Just a little bit of those traditional values.
Interesting.
But it's more like it's passed on to the son. All those, a little bit of the old school, respect for the old school.
All right, go on and carry on. You said
Still
Stephen
laddish.
Delane.
Yeah, I think I feel like Stephen Delane is the slightly watered down version of Old Man Peanut, where he's kind of disregarded some of those.
But he's true. More like, let's go to the football.
That's true. That is true.
That's what I think he represents.
So that is Adam more.
Maybe 30%.
Maybe 30. Yeah, he's more Stephen Delane than he is Meredith, isn't he?
Yeah.
But Stephen Delane is probably the most, out of all of the characters in this, he's arguably one. Him and Tom Wilkinson's characters are the most realistic men you encounter in life.
And Tom Wilkinson is definitely, obviously, the most. He is just a normal guy who's almost left these people, I would have said. Like, he was around them when he was younger, and then he's moved on with his life.
Loves his mummy.
Well, you say moved on, but I think he's kind of considered, he's meant to be a potential weakness in that, as you say, he lives with his mummy. When we're introduced to him, he's cooking with an apron on. He doesn't ever he's one of these hangers on. He's on the fringes, and when the other lads are saying stuff, he's sort of laughing and chipping in, but he's never leading anything himself. He's a bit out of place.
That's what I mean. He was that guy when he was younger, but he's grown up. He's almost left and grown up a different route where they've almost stuck together and kept their root and their values. I
get the impression that he was always blagging on. You know, certain people who are just on the outskirts and they're like, we don't really want to be in this crowd.
I can never imagine him as a Mal ever.
No,
he's almost like he's in it because he lived next door to them, and he just happened to grow up with them.
He went rather to than school became with them,
friends
that
with
kind
them.
Of thing.
Became friends with them at 15 when they were already established. That's what he thinks to me.
But there is a niceness to you, Adam, which he does embody. So you are a bit of him. You are a bit more of him than Peanut. Is probably true.
I would say so. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah. Also, I'm cooking my sourdough in the middle of doing all this podcast, so I think that's me.
Which character cooks sourdough?
Yeah. and then with Ray Winston.
Ray Winston's almost the forgiven one, and I think he's almost a mixture of all of them in a certain way, to a point.
He is. That's the point, isn't it? Because all these people have his ear.
He is the 100% of the person you're trying to make up.
But he is the most sensitive.
Yeah. And again,
So then, Paul, let's me and you actually build, based on everything we've just said, let's build up percentages for Adam for all of that to make 100%.
Okay.
So if we're saying 5% Peanut,
yep, 5%,
and 20% Meredith, that's 25%. So we need to build up 75% with the others.
Let's say 35 for Mal.
35 for Mal. Okay, so that takes us to 60% overall.
Yeah. I mean, is he a homely kind of guy with the Tom Wilkinson? I'd say there's a bit of him in there.
10% Wilkinson, 30% Ray Winston.
Yeah. That sensitive?
Well, if not that, then we'd have to give more to Stephen Delane.
Yeah. Maybe more Stephen Delane.
Well, I tell you what, the thing about Ray Winston's character, which does not sing to Adam, is Adam never talks about his feelings ever. Not once.
That's why I don't
Paul,
feel like
you've
he's
talked
that
about
much.
your feelings. Adam never talks about his feelings. Not to us, I mean. And bearing in mind, we're talking about how we are around boys, men, each other.
Yeah.
Not how we are with our partners. Adam is nothing like Ray Winstone, actually.
I'd say, yeah, give more to Mal. Let's say Mal
40.
40. Give it the 45. Offset that 5% of Mal, of Old Man Peanut. So we're getting the 50, straight up 50 from the lad behaviour.
Yes. and then whack in Tom Wilkinson for 20%.
Yeah.
Give him a bit more, because that is where his little homespun beauty comes in. 15% Meredith, 15% Ray Winston.
20%, 10% Ray Winston.
Yeah, okay, that sounds fair. All right, Adam, that's you. We just built you,
Okay.
all right?
That's you as a human.
Do you have any rebuttal? Are you happy with that?
I'll take that if that's how you see me.
All right. Who should we do first? Who should we do next? We don't need to go over all the characters again because we've just done that. We just need to build the percentages.
Should go Ben.
Go on, build me.
Let's build Ben, Adam.
I think he's 100% Old Man Peanut.
He didn't like that remark. See, I think there is a rebuttal there. Adam doesn't like these Old Man Peanut.
No, he doesn't.
I think the only way there is an Old Man Peanut and Ben is sometimes how Ben looks at a situation. And I think you are kind of like, this situation means this happens. Not saying the views on the situation are the same, but I feel like very much A means B equals C.
I would agree that there is definitely an Old Man Peanut streak to me in certain situations, but not in the situation in the film. But there is a bit, yes.
A and B equals C.
What? Yeah. How much do you want? About 5% of Old Man Peanut?
I think 5 is fair again.
You just want to give one 5% Old Man Peanut, don't you?
Yeah. But again, I think it's true that every man has a combination of these people probably inside of them.
Yeah.
It's almost like Inside Out. This is the fucking 40-year-old man version of Inside Out.
Yeah. It is. I mean, that's a fucking great way to... It is. It is.
It's true, yeah. Well, this is a good way to start it. Out of all the characters, what is the majority for Ben? In my opinion, I would say it is Ray Winston.
Yeah.
So would I.
Yeah.
I feel that as well.
Like
I feel like
him.
Over, yeah, I'm saying 50, 50 or over Ray Winston.
Yeah. And then the rest of them are, yeah.
So if we go 50, let's say 50 for now. 50 Ray Winston. We got a 5% Old Man Peanut, that's 55%. The laddish behaviour, there's definitely some laddish behaviour in there. A little bit of laddish behaviour. So we go about, should we say 15? What do you think more, Adam?
No, I think that's fair.
So that take us to the 80?
Yeah.
Got 20% left with a bit of Meredith or Archie. There's definitely home.
I'll say 10 of each.
Nah, I think there's... I'd say 15 Archie, Tom Wilkinson, 5% Meredith.
That's how you build me.
That's how I'm building.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
I would agree with everything apart from I actually think I've got a bit more Meredith to me than Archie, because I do think a little aloofly about things. Sometimes I'm a little bit of a diva about things.
Okay, what you'd offset the Tom Wilkinson?
No, I'd probably take a little maybe off Ray Winston even. I'd maybe like 10% off Ray Winston and knock it back on. But that's roughly it. That'll do me. I'm fine with that. Let's build Paul, Adam. So who do we start with? Which one is he most
I
like?
think there's a lot of Ray Winston in Paul.
There is. I tell you, he's got... I tell you who he absolutely doesn't have any of in him. Is Peanut.
Is that Peanut? Is that probably why you enjoy? Or maybe 1%. 1% for Paul.
Actually, no, but 5% is probably accurate, because the thing...
I don't think we can say 0% to any of these characters.
No.
There is
and the reason why
in
Peanut is in each of us is probably less so you, Adam, in a weird way, but that Peanut... I've heard Paul when he doesn't like something, and he is very... Fucking this is shit, it's just horrible, fuck it. Like, he's very... If he doesn't like something, he's very dismissive of it. Like me. So I know he has peanut in him. So 5% peanut for him. Just remember that.
Okay.
We will have.
That's what, again, I mean, it is literally inside. There have to be a percentage of all of these people inside of all of us. It's just what those percentages make up and who's controlling it in any given time.
I reckon.
This is what Ben was saying at the beginning, and Adam was dismissing it.
I know this guy.
now suddenly, it's all of us.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying there was obviously parts of it that need to be added as well that these guys don't represent.
I reckon you have, in equal measure, Wilkinson and Meredith.
Like 30% of each.
I reckon 25% of each.
Who you going majority? He's going majority Ray Winston.
Yeah.
Majority Ray Winston of about 30.
I think he's got 10% Stannis.
Yeah, the Stannis. Yeah, do you know what? No,
5% Stannis.
He's more old man Peanut than he is Stannis. Because Stannis, you're right, is absolutely lad, and Paul does not do lad culture. He's not laddie.
Just at skateboards.
Yeah, but that's not laddie.
I love skateboards.
That's American laddie.
Like laddie, like if there's anyone you really don't want to be from this layout, it's Stannis, in a way.
I'll say 5% Peanut, 5% Stannis.
Yeah.
What's that make? 20% of Meredith, 20% of Wilkinson, and then 50% of Ray Winston.
I say 40% Ray Winston and 25% of Meredith and 25% of Wilkinson. I think most of all, what Paul is a combo of Meredith and Wilkinson, because Paul normally is very calm in a situation in the way that Meredith is. Like his approach, if there's some drama going on,
oh yeah,
Paul is always
get flustered.
Quite calm.
He's the least flustered person I've ever met.
Yeah, but then on the same hand, you Adam, if there's drama, you're more like you kind of ignore it and go through it, whereas Paul doesn't ignore it; he just addresses it, which is what Meredith does.
Should we go through and do each of our patrons now?
Anyway, are you happy with that, Paul?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a new patron tier. You could pay us £5 and we'll make up your personality from 44-inch chess.
I think that's a good way of talking about the characters anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good way of talking about the characters.
But if you're nailing on one character, it would be Ray Winston Ben, right? I'm Tom Wilkinson, and Adam, you are Mal.
Yeah. I think that sounds about right.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Do you know the funny thing is? There hasn't been one cunt yet.
No, we did it before we started the episode.
We've been speaking around it, haven't we?
I know.
So coming back to the actual fucking film, on this viewing, was there anything, Adam, you already said about the woman, and you wish that there'd been a bit more from her point of view, but was there anything this time round that you liked less?
Me, I got something.
Go on.
It did actually really put me off the domestic abuse.
Yeah.
I was like, man, how can they just put this in here and we're supposed to still go along with these characters? Like, do you know how much fun we're having with the dialogue between all of them at the beginning?
Yeah,
as soon as they throw in that, I just kept punching her, and I was just like, oh shit, man, this isn't that fun anymore.
I know.
It just kind of drops that level of fun, which is a shame. I feel like I wish they didn't have the domestic abuse in there, and I feel like this would have been a better film.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it also devalues his whole argument that he loves her a lot.
Yeah.
And I do think if this was made 3 or 4 years later, it wouldn't have had that situation in it.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a hard one because I feel like we get enough of the way they're back and forth between each other, a sense of who they are without having to even show physical violence in there.
Yeah.
We can get a sense of how, yes, I can imagine they're quite ruthless and violent people, just the fact they got this man in the room, they beat him up and they're about to kill him.
Yeah.
That's all we needed.
Yeah.
But I imagine she got thrown through the window. Unless she ran through the window, but it's like...
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad, I know.
Horrendous, yeah.
It's the fact that it continues is what really drops it.
But that is also, like, I think it's like what lies beneath the surface of this kind of film. Like, if we didn't have that, and we have a film with a bunch of men going, fuck it, lick it, you can't you bother, you twat, you fuck off, fuck, you know. If we had that for 90 minutes and we didn't have the violence, you know that all of that is just covering up the violence, because you know that these are the kind of men who go home and beat their wives and cheat on their wives. You know that. So it's kind of like, let's pull the curtain over it and not look at that thing, because we can all get...
Well, they didn't say that at any point that like he's cheated on her or he's beat her before, or they haven't mentioned any of that happening. It doesn't sound like these are the type of people who have done that before. And it doesn't lean in to suggest that these are doing that on a daily basis or have done it to previous and cheated on her.
Okay, one thing I could possibly say, actually, is if we didn't get the violence, you would probably still be on the side of Ray Winston.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, well, why did she cheat? And you would be pondering on that. But as
she
soon
didn't
as
cheat
he
because of the violence. The violence was a result.
No, but yeah,
of cheating.
exactly. But that wasn't the point that she cheated. But as soon as he does hit her, you're not wondering about why she did cheat anymore.
Yeah.
It takes that completely away.
I don't know. I don't think it answers the fact that why she did it. I think obviously there's other things going on that resulted in her doing it, and they're not answered still.
Well, I don't know. I think that it's interesting because there's things that Ray Winston's character says which suggest that he is legitimately completely rocking and reeling from the news that she wants to leave him, because he's like dumbfounded in a way that feels very like believably, what? How the fuck is this happening?
Out of nowhere. Yeah.
And his reaction, but you know, that also the violent reaction also embodies that whole thing of like, oh well, men like that if they've got all these men in their ear telling them you got to do something, your manhood's been challenged. It's the Sarah Everard situation. Remember a few years back when we did our shame episode, we talked about it a little bit there. It's the culture that enables men to be that way, and the culture that enables it is Guy Ritchie films, people talking like that in your ear. But but I love my wife. I love my mum. I love my sister.
This would almost be an anti-gangster film in some ways, and it kind of does end in that way.
But that's the beauty
of it.
The
ending is very,
It gets people in who otherwise wouldn't have to talk about these things because they think they're going to see a gangster film and they're getting this.
But that's again, like I think we briefly spoke about it, we didn't speak it on the podcast, but The Adolescence that's out on Netflix at the moment, it's not very much of this is the case and this is what happens, it's why this happened. And each episode reflects on why, rather than, like, you don't care about the outcome. The outcome is there from the beginning, but it's all about why did this happen?
Yeah.
And all the factors that happen to why that happened. And again, this could have dealt with a little bit of, yes, I can see the way we reacted and you see how hurt you are, but why? Like, I don't think it ever answers the why this happened and gave her a voice. It just makes the only representation you see of her is her flirting with other people. And again, I know that's in his dream and he's making that up. But again, yeah.
I can see. Yeah, so less of the violence, more of the female perspective. Might have done it a little
she
bit
could have been
justice.
like, you've been so distant, you've been out with your mate, like, or you again, if she said, oh, you've been beating me, you've been talking to, like, all of that, then you're like, okay,
that would have been the worst. You've been out with your mates every night.
I don't know how you do it. Like, I think it is. It's hard. It is true. You kind of do need something, but that's only if it matters. Like, it kind of doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why she did what she did or whatnot. And you kind of aren't. I don't think as you watch this film, you are meant to think she's a villain or that she's done something bad. It is more about, okay, regardless of what he's done and how he's behaved prior to this film starting.
It's very misogynistic in places, though.
It is. I know it is.
That's the point.
It is.
And I feel like if you want to set the argument, you need to balance it out at some point. Whether it doesn't matter how, it's just like, I don't know, you need that voice.
I think the way you balance it out is what we're doing right here, right now. Because I actually think this is a perfect film to have on the podcast because it is about what conversation does it provoke afterwards. There's two... I can't believe a single geezer, lad, a peanut, an old man peanut, watching that film, getting to the end of it and feeling, oh yeah, that was great the way they were talking about her. They would watch it and go, oh, fucking bunch of wank. They wouldn't get it.
Yeah, which is probably why this film hasn't done well, because it's marketed at a certain demographic and it hasn't spoken to them, or I don't know, in the same way, and that's probably why this film almost died a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, it's because those people must be thick as shit then.
Yeah, but
they're talking to you. They're trying to break your mind open.
I know, but
they're trying to challenge you and get you fucking speaking properly.
But do you think it needed to say a little bit more? Like a tiny bit more?
I think it could have done with a little bit less of the men, and a little bit of, even if it was just a scene that was just like, this is what's happened, this is what's led up to it. Because he keeps going on like he's the perfect husband, where he's not if this has happened.
Yes, it's true.
People don't just cheat. Like,
it's
it
very
doesn't
hard.
just happen.
Because it's like, yes, I agree, but that's also the point. Because he's not the perfect husband, and he thinks he is.
Yes,
but he clearly isn't.
Yeah,
because of how.
But then again, it's like, if you're going to make this film speak like that, you need to let it go, because everyone are going to go, oh, she's such a slag or whatever because he cheated. Because like, if you are watching it and you're trying to get these people to talk, they're not necessarily going to think and delve. Like, we having a conversation like us doing it is not always going to happen when people watch this film. I think it just adds that, if you add that percentage of doubt into people's mind when they walk away from the film, then they would have that conversation about it. Whereas I think most people would walk away from this film and go, he didn't beat her up, he didn't kill him, he's such like a... That's what people would take up more than the fact of he could have been in the wrong to even start off with, which is why he let him go.
That's people totally getting the wrong read on the film, though. Like, the bottom line is, by him letting that man go, the reason that he's so racked and unable to actually beat this guy up or kill him is because in his heart he knows that he wasn't a perfect husband, whatever the reason for it was.
Or he felt so small that he can't take him on. Like, it was that whole when he holds up the thing of the cake, this is how small you made me feel.
Yeah, it's that, but it's also you. She went with you. The person who I love so much wants to be with you. Yeah. You mean the fucking world to her for some fucking reason, which I can't understand. So if I destroy you, what is it? Like he said, that's destroying her. So off you go. That is his most selfless act in the whole film. If he does love too much and he thinks he's the perfect husband, by letting that guy go, he actually does do the decent thing. Because what is accomplished by beating the shit out of him, killing him? That is the old school masculinity.
He's losing her forever.
Yeah.
It pushes her forever away.
And actually, it's like at the end, by saying go, all of you go, and him walking out by himself, it's kind of like freeing, it's liberating for his peace of mind and for his mental health. He is free in that moment. That's his only sense of relief throughout the whole fucking film.
Yeah, I think it does very well of just exploring that, because like he has that massive conversation with him, like not telling him he doesn't know what love is. But like, and you also see that scene between both of them where he actually finds out, and he's like, well, if you try and come back, I'm not going to take you back. And then he's like, what are you talking about? Of course you would, because I love you so much. Like, I think that's a really good scene, because it's like,
it is,
and it's the turmoil in someone's head.
Yeah.
It's totally relatable.
Yes,
in that scene, and just the whole dialogue between him and this guy in the chair, and he's just like, happiness is just like when she's 10, you got to fix the sink for ages. Then one day, you find a spanner in your hand, you're fixing it, and
she doesn't even notice.
Smile on your face. Yeah, she doesn't notice. You just have a big smile on your face because you know that she'll like appreciate it in some way.
And the true and the truest words, it is true, because it is like when he's going on about, basically like, this is early days of fucking love where everything's perfect. You think it's all roses. It's not. It's hard work. It's effort, and it is.
Yeah.
How would you react in Ray Winston's situation?
I'd be going through exactly the same.
I think I would as well
as him. Obviously, I wouldn't go and fucking
no
torture a guy and put him in a chair.
No, well, I was going to say, obviously I wouldn't fucking throw punches at my loved one.
Especially because it's something so out the blue where you think nothing's wrong, and then you find out that this woman that you love to the end of the earth cheated on you and doesn't want to be with you anymore. It's like, well, but I'm here and I still in this relationship and I still love you. Like, nothing's changed for me.
Yeah.
So how can I just drop that? It's like, can we just go back to how things were before? That's the easiest path even though it will kill you in the long term. It absolutely would.
And what if me and Adam are like, shall we go and get the guy?
Oh, fuck. It's not going to end well, mate. It's not going to end well. Should we go get the guy?
How would you react, Adam?
I don't know. I don't think you can really say until the situation happens. I really agree. I don't think there is. You could and ah about, what would you do in a situation? What would you do that? But I don't think you can ever really say an answer.
All right, then what would you do if you were an additional person in the room? If you were another man in that room?
I don't know. I think I always think I'm quite the middle, reasonable person. I always try and think I reason in a situation, counter argue. I don't think I'd let you kill him or beat him up.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Okay. We'd definitely be trying to talk you down.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously it's horrendous, but it's like, that's just going to make things worse.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think out of the three of us is most likely to encourage them to kill?
You.
I'm not sure. I'm not. I mean,
if you've had a couple of
wouldn't
drinks,
ever
Ben, you'd be down there.
I don't think any of us would.
If I was drunk, yes.
Yeah, if you were drunk.
If I was drunk, I'm a whole other person. I'll be old man Peanut all day fucking long. That's not true.
Kind of true.
I actually, and just one thing to loop back to your original comment, Paul, right at the beginning about Old Man Peanut. Every time I've watched it, not just now, I'm always like, oh, do I like this performance? Because it's so fucking over the top, isn't it?
It is.
So
that's why I
over
like
the
it.
top. But sometimes I'm like, oh, enough. And then other times I'm like, well. Do you know my least favourite bit in the whole film? Just how it sounds, how it's written, is lick it when they're on about a banana. Old Man Peanut says it, and I hate it. I think that kind of stuff is what annoyed me a bit in this film. This time I just noticed it a little bit more overall, and it felt a little bit
it's a little bit forced. It's not
a little
as
bit
natural
forced. Yeah.
I get that. Who would your most standout person be out of all the film, though? It's not John Hurt, then.
Ray Winston, actually, even though everyone's doing
because of the emotion,
yeah, and because he has the most layers because he's got a little bit of all of them. But that monologue, like obviously, we have to refer to it because we haven't done all episode. But that cunting spunker line, which we've always joked about for years, which is incredible, so unique, such a wonderful, unique line. The delivery is fantastic, but really, in terms of substance, it fucking pales in comparison to Ray Winston's monologue about love. It's like, that is actually beautiful.
Yeah. I agree.
So yeah, he's my standout. Who's yours? Yours is John Hurt. Who's yours, Adam?
Well, performance, I think it's Ray Winston's performance.
Yeah. I
think it's the change, what he goes through, and he always does carry the film is on his shoulders. Like, if he's a weak character in that, if he's not a good actor in that and he's not up with the rest of them, then it's very noticeable.
Should we just wrap this up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Who went first? Adam.
Yeah. I gave this film an 8 out of 10 before. I'm going to stick with an 8 out of 10. I was maybe thinking this could have gone higher, but for the reasons I have said, I think more noticeable it hasn't, but it still has a lot of good parts that I don't think are hindered too much by what I said as well.
I always gave this film a 9. I've actually downgraded it this time round. It's an 8 because it is a great film. It's a great experience, but I now can notice irritants. I can notice the things that don't make it anywhere close to being a 9 sort of film, because we get a lot of wasted time. And in a film that's 90 minutes, we shouldn't have 20 minutes of stuff outside of the room, which is not so interesting. And some of the dialogue was a bit grating for me. But I still think it's, if you look beyond the surface, probably one of the better films on men's mental health out there.
Absolutely agree. Yeah. I agree with both of you. Yeah. It's an 8 for me as well. For all the points you both said. Yeah, agree.
There we go.
Solid 8.
Solid 8. Okay, so it's got to go battle with the 8. So the first one is Hunger. It's better than Hunger.
Yep.
Okay.
It's going to go quite high. That's something.
El Camino is better than El Camino.
I'll say it's better than El Camino, yeah.
Yeah, better than El Camino, yeah.
Saw X is better than Saw X.
Yeah, it's better than Saw X.
Big Night is better than Big Night.
It's not better for me.
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I can't remember what you gave Big Night, but yeah. Melancholia.
It's not better for me.
I think it is.
I think it is, but I would be keen to revisit Melancholia. I think it's better. Yeah. Reanimator is better than Reanimator.
It's better.
Yeah.
Strangers on a Train. I mean, that's just classic, man. We all gave that 8. That's hard, actually.
It's better. I'm going to say it's better.
Okay, I'm saying it's better because it's also better than the next film above. Yeah. All right. The Red Turtle is better than the Red Turtle.
It's better than the Red Turtle.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sing Street. It's better than Sing Street.
Better than Sing Street.
Yeah.
There we go. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I won't even say anything because you boys think it's better than that, so it goes above that. Zodiac is better than Zodiac.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There we go.
Go above. I'd have to decide.
Wildlife.
Better.
Yeah.
Okay. Midnight Run.
You give a 9 to this. So I'm going to say it's better than Midnight Run, though.
I will say it's better than Midnight Run.
Last Jedi. It's better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better.
The Exorcist 3. That's where it stops for me, for sure.
I would say it's better.
I will say it is... Yeah, I'll say it's better.
Wow. Okay. Lego Batman. It's better than that.
It's not better.
I think it's going to have to say it's not better than Lego Batman.
Wow. Okay. So Batman.
I'm going to go Lego Batman a 9.
Batman beats Winston.
Batman
By the way,
beats Winston.
how'd you say his name?
I say Ray Winston.
Ray Winston, isn't it?
So it's not Winstone, even though it's got the E at the end.
Don't know. Winston.
I think it is Ray Winstone.
We'll have to hear him say his own name.
Are we all Googling that now?
Winstone.
There we go.
Winstone.
All right.
Well, do you want... Is it my choice for the next film we're doing?
Final film. Oh, it's not the final film, is it?
It's not the final film, no. We got one more after. We got a little proton pit coming. It's a very hard year. I found it very hard to try and find a film.
It is hard, yeah. It is. It's one of the hardest for some strange reason.
I actually broke it down to 3 possibilities, and I'm wondering whether I should ask you. Like, I'll give you a byline for each one, not like what the film's about, but just just something.
A little tease for it.
Not a tease for like the plot or anything, but just something that you have to choose from.
Go on.
Tagline.
Let's do it.
Okay. We're going either romantic comedy, a sequel to a film we've done before, or something a bit wacky and surreal.
Oh, I'm down for the last 2.
Yeah, me too. Bun that romantic comedy.
No romantic comedy.
What was the romantic comedy going to be?
Oh, 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, right. Okay.
It was on your watch list as well, Ben.
Yeah, I know. It's been. I've had that fucking Blu-ray for years, and I've never watched it. It's been like 10 years. That would have probably forced me to watch it.
Go on, choose between those 2.
Go on, Adam. You pick out of them 2 things. What do you want?
Let's go for the sequel or something different.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I don't even know what we've done
before.
that's got a sequel this year.
Holy shit! Are you locking it in?
Yeah.
Holy shit! You ready for this? I was thinking, if you chose it, then we're fucking doing it. So you chose it. You fucking chose it.
This is obviously bad.
We're doing the sequel to Donnie Darko. It's Darko.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And it's terrible.
I've never seen it.
Well,
I never even heard of it.
For a bit of completionist, there we go. There's the sequel to Donnie Darko.
Oh shit. Oh man. Okay.
At least we got something we can just literally tear apart. How about that?
Good.
What was the other film?
The other film was Bad Lieutenant, Port of New Orleans, Nicolas Cage.
Oh, do you know what? I was going to pick that one, potentially.
Werner Herzog.
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, the original I did not enjoy.
Yes, nothing like it. It's very different.
Darko, who's in that?
The girl, the sister.
The actual
She's
actress?
She's the lead actress, yeah.
Maggie Gyllenhaal?
No, the other sister, the little girl.
Oh, okay.
From the dance school.
Okay.
Julio be into this one. There you go.
Yeah, that's
Give him a reason
that's
to watch it.
It's a good time to do it, to be honest, Paul, because we just did Donnie Darko so recently, so it's a good double header.
Yeah, might as well. Right, that's what you got to look forward to, everyone. So, without further ado, let's just plug our Patreon. We've got a wonderful Patreon at www.patreon.com/filmbusters, where we've got some wonderful people over there where you can become best friends with them. You can become best friends with the likes of Tia from the Alien Effect podcast.
Yes, you can. You can become best friends with Luke Bennett.
You can become best friends with Francis Cibarini.
You can also become best friends with Steve and Mark, so you get two for the price of one.
You can become best friends with Brent from Home Video Hustle.
Yeah, there's also Luke Human, if you like him.
What, you're not going to become best friends with him?
I'm just saying, if you like Luke Human, he's there.
All right, that sounds negative on Luke Human.
I was just trying to say something different. I was just trying to use a different way of saying the same thing over and over again.
I will double up on the next one. You become best friends with Sean Panda Nicholson from Three Men and a Mixtape.
You can become best friends with Nerd Revert.
And you become the bestest friends with Julio from the Contrarians.
And you become one bester than what you can ever say to Jamie Russell.
Or you become the bestest of best Infinity friends with Katie and Oti from the For Your Reference podcast.
You can. And also Ben left us because he needed to go for a poo. That's why he didn't shout your names.
Definitely not a poo, but we'll say it's a poo just for context, everyone. And we will leave him to say goodbye in 3, 2, 1.
Goodbye.
There he was. He just came back from his poo-poo.
Yeah.
Filmbusters.